All right, thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, and you can see Rattray here. He's wearing a chest pro. Marcia did not have that, but Tyler Rattray, he's back. Keys to the race. He needs a better start than last time. He has to have good line choice. Try to find some smooth lines out there. And at the end, he needs to dig deep all the way to the checkered flag.
That's your Rocky Mountain ATV MC keys to the race for Rattray, who was there with that torrid battle. And then late in the race, they were able to pull away, and he ended up 8th. That's not what the former world champion wants here in 2010. Looks like Will Hahn of the Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda is going to grab the whole shot here in Moto 2. Trey Canard is up there in the number 2 spot. No, it's Darren Durham going to pass Canard around the outside. Darren Durham on the Honda Troy machine is into 2nd.
And there's a Yamaha inside the top 5, and I'm going to say that's Davalos, along with Tommy Searle, rounding out the top 5.
And, of course, you've got to look for the 377 of your first Moto winner, Porcel. Right now, Tommy Searle is in a great position for the overall, though it's very, very early. And he's got his own rival from Europe, Rattray, right there on his right. Right now, it is Hahn, Durham, Canard, Davalos, and here's your battle. Looks like Rattray's trying to get inside again on Tommy Searle.
Well, here we go. This is going to be some tough math here as it's all shaken up with the inception of Trey Canard, who got the start in the first moto, finished what had to be a disappointing 7th for him. Let's see if he can rebound right now here in the second moto.
Well, Darren Durham's making it tough. In fact, Durham on the outside, not only holding off Canard, but he's going for the lead. A very disappointing Supercross season for Durham. Crashed and missed a bunch of races, but he is here with a vengeance outdoors. Wait a minute. Report is we've got a red flag situation. We might have a restart. Jeff, you mentioned that a bunch of riders were down off the start. Yes, and that is the scenario.
Blake Baggett is down after that unbelievable first moto.
Wow, Baggett 6th in Moto 1. We hope he's okay here in Moto 2. We're going to take a break, sort this thing out, re-rack it, and then go racing again. Well, we have cleared up the situation here at Hangtown. The good news is all the riders who were down, both Blake Baggett and Drew Gosler, are back up. I don't think Gosler was able to get back into the race, but they did both get up under their own power, Jeff.
Fantastic conclusion there to a pretty bad first turn accident, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be disappointing for a rider like Will Hahn unless he can duplicate it here in this second round, because that whole shot was awesome.
Will justice be served? Will Hahn get another start? Let's find out.
Yes, he nails it.
How does that happen every time? Will Hahn's got it again. And this time it's Eli Tomac in 2nd. Around the outside on the green bike is Wilson. 3rd, right in front of Wilson, is Trey Canard.
Tommy Searle had 3rd or 4th in that first one, and right now he's about 6th or 7th. So good start once again for Tommy Searle. And the question is, where's the 377?
Not that far back, Jeff. He's just around the outside to the right of Searle. So plenty of opportunity now for the 377 to go forward. But they've all got a challenge. The 49 of Will Hahn and the 243, the rookie Eli Tomac, who nearly won the first moto today.
Durham back up front also. Towards the front, I should say. Great start, though, for Hahn. Yeah.
Unbelievable. 2 whole shots. Fortunately, only 1 is going to count, but he'll take it either way. And look, he's actually putting distance now on the dueling Geico Honda riders. Canard makes the move. A disappointing race for Canard in Moto 1. He's not going to let it happen this time.
But I believe Tomac got the drive there. Let's see if he can make it stick on the inside.
Wow.
Yes. And then Canard back to the outside. Canard takes the spot.
I think it's safe to say this track's got multiple lines here in the second moto. They were side by side for about 4 corners. And in fact, they're still side by side. Tomac doesn't care about the credentials of his teammate Canard. He's going after it. Darren Durham right there in the Honda of Troy bike. Right behind them. And then it's Kawasaki's of Wilson and Porcel. Porcel putting himself in position to try to salvage the overall after a so-so start here. Aaron, what's happening down there weather-wise and track-wise? Looks pretty tough.
I wish I could tell you. Mother Nature is definitely pulling a bit of a funk on us right now, but all of the awnings are actually flipping upright, and there's a lot of staff members that are running around trying to collect leads, trying to keep any kind of anything basically from blowing onto the track. But yes, the wind has picked up a lot. And Jeff, we spoke about it earlier, but I don't know how these conditions would affect the rider, especially with all the elevation changes and any crosswind that may occur.
Well, these guys are pretty focused at the moment. I'm telling you, if that wind kicks up too much in some gusty wind spots where maybe there's a jump or whatnot, it can kind of surprise you and take your wheels out from under you. You can see those trees blowing around a little bit also.
A key pass. Purcell just got around Searle for 6th. So those are the guys that are 1-2 in the Moto. Now you can see some debris, not tents or awnings or anything like that, but literally rocks and whatnot being blown around the track. This is crazy. Wow. Probably not something in all the days of testing these riders put in that they expected to deal with here at Hangtown.
Well, not that they expected to deal with, but I'm telling you, the laps, training or testing with the teams for the motorcycle stuff that these riders have to put in to be at the top level is, I mean, there's some extreme riding days out there. I've been out at some of the local tracks where there was upwards of 60-mile-an-hour winds. So let's take a look at this progressive whole shot replay here. Once again, 49, Troy Lee Honda, all the way. Will Hahn had that one going away right from the drop of the gate. He was not even challenged.
Now, Will Hahn, a breakthrough season for him indoors in Supercross, where he finished 2nd in the Lights West points. He was known as a true Supercross rider and a bit of an unknown here outdoors. So far, looks like an outdoor specialist as he holds off Canard and Tomac.
Yeah, the only problem is that there's about 10 seconds between 1st and 16th. It normally is not like that. There's something about the track today that has really allowed this close racing. It's just been incredible every moment that we've had here at Hangtown.
Look at this battle. Tomac and Canard. Tomac on the inside.
I mean, there's 3 riders in one turn.
Yeah, they're glued to each other. And Dean Wilson in the hunt as well. Purcell, Searle, Darren Durham. We mentioned all these guys. One mistake out of any of them, it's all going to change. Whoa, what a move by Tomac to get around Canard for 2nd.
Wow, what an aggressive move there by the teammates. But I'm telling you, Trey Canard, he is not going to like that because he has got to be fired up after the first moto that he had, dropping back to 7th. That is really disappointing for him. And he's a strong guy. Okay, he's going to be in this thing all the way to the end. But Tomac, man, hey, that youthful exuberance that he has, he's going after the lead here.
I was going to say, Tomac, unbelievable ride. Let's hear more. Aaron, what do you got on Trey Canard?
When I caught up with Trey in between motos, he was sitting in the rig and he actually just looked extremely frustrated. When I asked him what was wrong, he said he rode just more tight than he's ever rode before. He said he's just not feeling comfortable and he doesn't know exactly what the reason was. They didn't make any changes to the bike. They said if anything, they were going to make a few minor tweaks to the suspension, but they never did confirm whether they did that or not. But they said he needed to pull it together and just ride like the way he knows how to ride here for this 2nd moto.
Well, that's true. It doesn't have anything to do with the bike here. As you see, Tomac making a move for the lead, who's totally dialed in. But getting back to Canard, you know, it's all mental at that point. I think that if a rider's riding tight at this point, you know, I mean, he's plenty fit and everything's good. Just putting a lot of pressure on himself and mentally just, you know, locking up a little bit. He'll be able to work it out.
Well, here's the guy who should be locking up mentally. Eli Tomac has never raced as a pro until today, and he just put it to Will Hahn and put it to Canard, and now he's starting to pull away. And if Purcell and Searle can't move too far forward, Tomac might win his first ever pro race.
Hey, if this race is anything like the first moto, we know that the race is far from over here because these guys are going to battle all the way through. Tommy Searle and Christophe Purcell were the strongest riders in the first moto. We'll see what they got here in the latter stages of Moto 2.
All right, there's Purcell, the crafty one. Whoa, this track is rough. He's got to keep that bike on 2 wheels. Hahn trying to come back. Battle with the Honda boys in front of him. This is going to be good. A lot of racing left. Stay with us. Battle is on right now for 3rd as Eli Tomac and Trey Canard trying to get away 1st and 2nd. This is Will Hahn, Dean Wilson battling for 3rd and 4th. And look out, Christophe Purcell, the winner of Moto 1 today in Hangtown, is in 5th. He's going to have to move a little bit further forward than that. If Eli Tomac wins this one and Purcell can't get to at least 2nd, Tomac's going to win the overall in his first ever pro race. I can't accentuate that enough, Jeff.
Yeah, and I can't stress enough here how there's 14 seconds between 1st and 10th, and Searle has actually dropped down to 10th now on that last lap. So that's really going to shake everything up as the two Pro Circuit teammates are absolutely going after it. Porcel first, Wilson 10th in the first moto.
Yeah, and Wilson crashed in this very section right before in moto number 1. That's why he finished 10th. So we didn't really get to see what he had speed-wise. We're seeing it now. He's right there in the thick of it.
One thing you can notice, too, about Dean Wilson is that, look on his handlebars there, he's actually running rock and mud guards, where his teammate here, Christophe Porcel, has chosen not to run any. And that, I mean, this second moto, as some of those rocks start to come up and some of those hills, could be important to have some guards on there to protect your hands.
Christophe Porcel is the man on a mission this year. A disappointing championship run last season. He feels that he was the best man in 09, and he wants to prove it here in 2010.
Well, I disagree a little bit, Jason, with some of his comments about winning the championship, because in the end he was not the champion. He certainly showed on numerous occasions that he was the fastest rider. Sometimes a rider makes mistakes, sometimes things happen to the bike. It's a combination of both, okay? But he has the opportunity this year to back it up and come back and win a championship here in the next 23 motos.
Well, he's doing the job right now. He's in front of Darren Durham. He's got to get around a couple other riders in front to try to win the overall today. Going to go around Wilson and Hahn, and he'll win the overall. That will be step number 1. But of all the guys we thought that might battle Porcel for the title this year, Kyle Bentley cheering Porcel on. All the guys we talked about, guys like Kennard and Weimer and Barsha. I don't know if anyone was thinking of Eli Tomac. That's the guy he's got to hustle to get right now.
Yeah, and there's nobody out there that wants the 377 to win any more than Kyle Bentley.
Yes.
You know, and Mitch Payton on the Pro Circuit guys, they're kind of a little bit of redemption. There may be a lot of redemption after last year, because to lose a championship that way with a mechanical malfunction is just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for the rider like Porcel. He says, look, I did everything I could do. Okay, but once again, you go back to, this is a combination between man and machine. I've heard numerous people talk about that motocross is the ultimate combination between man and machine.
So far, Porcel not able to make the kind of move toward the front that you would think. He's been stuck back here.
Seems like he's riding a little easy right now, and I'm sure he's not, but that's the appearance, is that he's very patient. Okay. And right now, stuck in 5th. 5th isn't going to be good enough to get it done at this moment.
Wilson has gotten by Hahn. So Wilson is 3rd, Hahn is 4th, and Porcel remains in 5th. And remember, a lap or 2 ago, Porcel was right behind his teammate Wilson. Now Wilson is out of the shot. You see it very, very far up on the top of the screen. So Wilson has pulled away from Porcel. Here goes Porcel now to work on Hahn.
Look how smooth Christophe Porcel is. He is just so fluid as he makes the pass here. Just drives down through there. There's something about how he rides with his upper body. Okay, he's a little bit more upright than certain guys. He's not real crouched over, which is easier on his back. His ab muscles, you know, all of the torso area. He's just very efficient with his energy. And you have to think that a lot of that comes from the injury that he had a few years back. Not able to train in a normal type of way. You know, I think part of it is part of, you know, what his personality is also, but he certainly is a skilled rider, rides with a tremendous amount of efficiency.
What they say in Europe was he was a smooth rider, and then he got hurt, and then he just became even smoother.
Yeah.
It's definitely fun to watch, for sure. Meanwhile, what happened to his teammate Jake Weimer here?
You see Weimer down here at the top of the hill. That's some of those Toyota tough blocks getting out of the way. Definitely not the day that Weimer has wanted to have, as he struggled through that first moto, struggled to get a 4th, and he was just absolutely, you know, hammered by all these riders. It was a great ride to come out in 4th, but it was not easy. And now this moto stuck way back in the pack.
He's 10th right now. How about this? You want to talk about riding efficiently? Last year, the super rookie was Barsha, who was wide open, out of control, crazy. Not this kid. He is smooth, cool, calm, collected, leading the charge here at Hangtown. The lead is nearly 5 seconds.
And you talk about fast track to fame. That's what Eli Tomac here, Geico Power Sports Honda, is doing. And not only the first moto, he almost won the moto if he had fallen after Porcel fell. Now he's came out here and said, okay, that was a rookie mistake. I'm going to fix that, and I'm going to go try to hammer out this second moto. But he's got company, because here comes a number 38, Trey Kennard. Last lap around, he was actually about a half a second faster than Tomac was. And you go all the way back here, 10.8 seconds is Wilson, who's on the move also.
And Porcel was beginning to close back in on Wilson. They were about this close maybe 10 minutes ago. You can see the countdown clock at the top of the screen. We are 12 minutes away from the 2 laps to go board in this moto. So really, we're only halfway through. For Eli Tomac, and you're used to racing amateur races that are 8 or 10 laps, this is a lot longer race, and this is the second moto, so it's not over yet.
Yeah, but it's interesting because Eli Tomac chose to ride some off-road races that were upwards of 2 or 3 hours long to prepare for this, to compensate for riding the short amateur races.
And there's the mechanic for Wilson cheering him on. They want him to hold off. The guy who a lot of people were already handing this championship over when the year began. Everyone said this is Christophe Pourcel's to win or lose, not the competition. People standing on the side of the racetrack. As far as the competition is concerned,
wearing green shirts.
Yeah. Well, not the guy wearing the green shirt that's wrenching for Dean Wilson, though.
Just a fantastic ride here for Wilson. He's basically a rookie to this series. Not a rookie professional, but I like how he kind of bounces around the track. He's got a nice flow to himself, and he times a lot of these downhills where he hits the braking bumps, and he'll actually kind of jump through the braking bumps, kind of hop through them instead of just, you know, hammering each and every bump.
Aaron, what have you got on Dean Wilson down there in the pits?
Well, guys, Dean Wilson had told me earlier that the biggest challenge for him coming into the series is learning the tracks, being a rookie coming in. But right now he's going to take a look at Eli Tomac and what it is that he's doing and how he was able to learn these tracks so fast. But he said coming in, the thought process is just to get a good start. It's going to be the biggest challenge and get through today safely so he knows exactly what to work on for the remainder of the season.
Well, Aaron, I'm not so sure that you actually have to learn the tracks other than trust your instincts. Wilson and Tomac are both riders that have logged thousands of hours and laps in on motocross tracks, and you have to do it instinctually. You have to know exactly, you know, how the track is going to shape up and how it's going to form. I don't really think that you need to have that sort of local knowledge, other than you have to have, you know, strong instincts.
Well, considering that rookies are running first and third right now, you might be right about that. Meanwhile, 2 riders we expected to battle for this championship. Pourcel is 4th, and Canard is 2nd. And just as quickly as we thought Canard was making moves, Tomac's actually pulled back away, Jeff.
What's this? I might be right.
There is absolutely no doubt.
There you go. That's my guy.
I should never question the genius of the 4-time AMA national champion. Well, you're right. I mean, Tomac, we thought Canard was about to make a move on him, but Tomac has actually pulled the lap time back down into the 2:15s. No one else has pulled off a 2-minute 15-second lap time.
Fastest lap of the moto.
Yeah, right now.
Eli Tomac with that's at the 20-minute lap mark.
And we get to see last year's super rookie, as we mentioned, Justin Barsha has been struggling with starts today. He makes the move on Darren Durham.
Oh, that was close. He almost threw it away. He's battling. Look at him just hammering through those sections as he gets past Durham. That's going to put him up into the 7th spot.
And Brock Tickle, who had a pretty bad start, is in 6th. Tickle, as he usually does, kind of quietly working his way forward, is 6th. Will Hahn, who had the whole shot, is 5th. Pourcel 4th. Wilson 3rd. And as mentioned, Tomac leading Canard out front. Haven't seen much of Barsha today due to the bad starts.
Well, this is interesting, interesting right here, because you've got Durham on, on the Honda of Troy, and you got Tickle in there also, Hahn up there. But for the most part, this is a factory connection. Geico Power Sports Honda, Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. I mean, they have got a stranglehold, and that really is the battle in this class.
After such a great rookie performance last year, a lot of people expecting Justin Barsha to win a bunch of races this year. And they're looking forward to watching him ride because he has such a wild and exciting riding style. And we had a chance to talk to some of his competitors about racing and watching Justin Barsha. Barsha's wide open riding. There's Justin Barsha. I don't know if it's going to be a sophomore jinx or not. 5th in the first moto, not where he wanted to be. I'm sure right now, not where he wants to be in the second moto, 7th. But it's a long, long season. Meanwhile, the 243 of Eli Tomac, Barsha's new teammate, is gone. His dad, of course, one of the legends of American mountain bike racing, maybe the greatest of all time, American mountain bike racing, John Tomac. So you know this kid's in shape. Dad's been pushing him for a long time, and they've been doing it not to win amateur titles. They don't care about that. They're preparing for this day and the long run of being a pro racer.
Yeah, and I mean, John was so, so diverse. He could go uphill and downhill better than anybody out there in his heyday. So pretty cool.
So, John Tomac's son, Eli Tomac, is looking for victory in only his 2nd moto ever as a professional, and he might just win the overall as well, unless Christophe Pourcel can move up. Amazing performance by this kid. might not have known who he was before the day began, but he's definitely made a lot of new fans today. Looking at Dean Wilson here at Hangtown, running in third, and that is a pivotal position because the man in fourth, Christophe Pourcel, needs to finish third in this race to win the overall, because in AMA Pro Motocross, we take 2 races and combine the scores of both to determine a winner for the afternoon. A mistake there by Wilson. That's okay. He's got a nice little lead built up.
Well, and he really hasn't had much pressure from Pourcel for the last 2 or 3 laps, and that's, you know, that's going to be good news for him, and it's great news for Eli Tomac, who's out front.
And right behind them, another battle. Will Hahn, who had the whole shot and has been running strong this entire race, has got company. Brock Tickle, as we like to say, Tickle, don't let the name fool you, is very serious about this. He wants into the top 5. Hahn's going to make it difficult on him, though.
Well, Tickle really has been the only representative, you know, of Yamaha today, in their 250F program. This has just been a Honda Kawasaki day all the way through.
Let's see if he can put that blue bike into the top 5. Hahn's going to be stingy with the top. I think he's just going to pull over. And that's what makes it so great, especially at the beginning of the year. These kids are all motivated.
Yeah, well, and I can't forget my boy Tommy Searle either on that FMF KTM. Who, just was so close to winning the first moto right now. He has dropped way off the pace, down and showing him at 19th as we speak. So not sure what has happened there, but certainly not the conclusion to the day that Tommy Searle was looking for.
Wow, nice move by Tickle. He managed to stand up to that entire section, feet on the pegs, tremendous balance like a trials rider, and made the outside line work. Mechanic there for Will Hahn saying you got to fight. They don't want to see him fall out of the top 5. And don't look back, because here comes the ever spectacular Justin Barcia in 6th. Sorry, he was 6th. He's in 7th. Let's see how long Hahn can hold him off.
Here he comes. The kid keeps moving forward. Starts weren't exactly what the doctor ordered here today. Not quite nailing those, but you see Will Hahn, who smoked both of those starts here in the second moto, drop back a little bit.
Here's 243, Eli Tomac. He has a 6.7 second lead. You know, normally when a rookie comes out here and wins, we talk about these kids, they worked so hard at the amateur level and worked and trained and worked and trained. But it's a different story here. His dad, who has already been through the grind of being a professional athlete, purposely backed Eli off when he was younger. He said, we don't want to burn him out from age 7 to 17. We want him to start peaking when he turns 17. So they would tell him, you're not allowed to ride the motorcycle this week, say when he was 12 or 13. So he'd be still motivated, still hungry, and still fresh for a day like today.
Whoa, little mistake there. I can tell you what, though, Eli is a very talented man on whether it be 2 wheels or even 1 wheel. Just to see this kid ride a unicycle.
Really?
Yeah, he's mega talented there when it comes to cycles of any sort, and he's showing us here today why he was the 2009 FIM Junior World Motocross Champion. He's coming out here in the top ranks, which I believe is the top series in the world.
Yeah, there's a big race over in New Zealand for up-and-coming amateur riders. The United States sent over there as the rep, and he came out on top, and now he might beat the best pro riders in the world today at Hangtown. Things are heating up late in the game. The Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Jason Wygant, Jeff Emig, and Aaron Bates here, keeping on top of the action. Here it comes. We thought Christophe Pourcel would put the challenge to Dean Wilson for 3rd. Actually, the challenge is coming from behind him. Brock Tickle on the number 20, who never gives up, is quickly closing the gap on Pourcel to try to take away 4th.
Well, and it's really interesting. Tickle right now is just absolutely flying. At the moment, he's running a 2:18, one of the fastest laps, last lap of any rider out there. But it's interesting to me that Pourcel just really doesn't seem to have the fire and even the speed that he had in the first moto. He's kind of settled into this 4th place position, even taking a look over his shoulder.
Yeah, this is not the Christophe Pourcel that we expected to see out of the gate here in 2010. Looked good when he won Moto 1, but a completely different rider here in the second.
Yeah, and it's hard to understand his physical condition. Every now and then you hear a little rumbling about, you know, some of the physical aspects of, you know, things from his injury a few years ago and lack of being able to train at times. That could possibly be what is, you know, happening here late in this second moto.
Yeah, you're right, Jeff. That plagued him last year. He crashed and broke his pelvis and had some internal problems as well. Had some problems with his stomach and his digestive system overall. And he had some surgery in the offseason hoping to cure that, but you don't really know, I'm sure, until you actually go racing. And with these conditions, with this kind of pace, and with this kind of pressure, maybe that's flared up again.
Well, and AMA Motocross is it's the toughest championship out there when it comes to physical conditioning, as you can see just how rough the track is, how treacherous it is here late in the second moto. But even though it's a cool day, you still exert so much energy and go through so many calories and get dehydrated that it's tough to keep all of that in you and to keep the fluids in you and all that. And this could be what we're seeing here. Hopefully we'll get a word from him and know exactly what it is after the race.
This is a good track for the man of the number 20, Brock Tickle. Last year had a great battle and kind of busted his way past Justin Barcia, who was leading early. And now he won. Uh-oh, that's Tyler Rattray off the racetrack. And we had the keys to the race on Tyler earlier, and I don't think that was one of the Rocky Mountain keys to the race for the 28.
Yeah, and
not supposed to go off the track.
Yeah, good line choice, better start, dig deep, finish big. It doesn't look like that he's going to be able to finish as big as what he wanted, but I do think that it's going to be a positive for him to get through all of the laps here and not crash out in that sort of situation. So he's going to have to pick himself back up and ride all the way to the checkered flag 100%.
So he can still at least put the dig deep to the finish key to the race in the books. Still do that.
There it is, and I tell you, the big finish right here is going to come from number 243, Eli Tomac, who's still one of the fastest riders on the track, even though it looked like he kind of missed his berm right there. 2 laps to go. Right now, look at that, nothing better than the checker, except for the checkered flag, then the white flag, 1 to go for Eli Tomac.
This is one of the most spectacular debuts of all time. Now, technically, rookies have won their very first race, but that usually is a rider, say, who's proven in Europe, moving over to the United States, who's technically a rookie on the AMA circuit. A rider like Grant Langston came in and went 1-1 the first time he ever raced in the U.S., but this is a true rookie, fresh out of the amateur ranks, won the Aeronautiques Loretta Lynn Championship last year. And in fact, they didn't even have him racing the expert classes as an amateur. Again, they were trying to build his program slowly, but when he had to turn it on, he knew how to turn it on. Oh, wait a minute! Somehow Porcel has come from nowhere to take over third, and that's going to give him the overall. The crafty Frenchman again. No, we had the change from Tickle. Yep. Sorry about that. So it's going to be a tie now. Tie break, of course, goes to second moto. So what has happened to Wilson? What has happened to Porcel? Last lap, everything coming unglued.
Well, and these guys are quite a ways behind Trey Canard, who's kind of running all by himself in second, and that's the position that Christophe Porcel needs if he wants a chance at winning this overall. As we look at it right here, this is actually Blake Wharton here, who is on his way to getting lapped potentially by his teammate, the 243 of Eli Tomac, who's right here with a little less than a half a lap to go. He could possibly be on his way to winning the overall and the second moto in his rookie AMA Motocross debut. Just an incredible ride.
It's going to be a tie on points, a 1-3 and a 3-1, so Tomac and Porcel will tie. But the tiebreaker is the better finish in Moto 2, and you cannot finish any better than first. So Eli Tomac is going to win. There you see how he and Porcel are tied, but that's not enough. Nice clutch move by Porcel to salvage some points, but not the win. And as much as people expected from Eli Tomac coming in here, maybe open some eyes, turn some heads, top 5, maybe a podium. I don't know if people expected a victory.
2 turns to go, and the son of John and Kathy Tomac is going to do it.
How about this? In his first ever pro race, Eli Tomac wins at Hangtown. An unbelievable performance for that young man, 17 years old, out of Colorado, and he has conquered the best riders in the world. Trey Canard, his teammate, tried to give him a run all the way down to the finish. He is going to take second, and that ultimately is going to make all the difference for the overall. The third place finish for Porcel to tie in points. Tomac wins the tiebreaker, wins the race. Wilson and Tickle round out the top 5. What an amazing ride for the rookie. We'll talk to him when we come back.